Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson, I'm the host of this podcast that's mine, gonna be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Dankness from the heart.
Friggin' what up, dude? Welcome back to another ep of History is Dank, dude. I'm your host, Strider Wilson, dude. We got Aaron going beast mode on the sticks as per usual, dude. What's going on, Aaron, dude?
What up?
Dude, I'm just freaking chilling right now, dude. Just posted up, dude, in the studio. Brand new paint job, dude. And we got an extra special motherfucking treat on today's episode, dude. We got the hilarious comedian and talented writer, dude, Maestro, with a Ticonderoga 2 in his hand, dude. Give it up. Welcome to the episode. Nick Taravella, dude. Stoked to have you here, bro.
Dude, stoked to be here. This is sick.
Dude, it's unbelievably sick, dude. I mean, me and you, dude, look, we go way back, bro. We go back to
the improv
like a decade.
Space, the improv space, Bruco, open mic hell.
Big time open mic hell. Bruco were some of the saddest experiences of my life. I did a bit there one time, and the host, Robert, who I will name drop his name on here, Robert, who I did a bit one time, and he goes, never do that again, dude. No laughs.
Yeah.
He was right.
He told me to quit comedy. He said it in front of everyone, and I was like, oh, this is probably just a bit. But then he pulled me aside privately, and he goes, no, you should really quit. Which is so
amazing,
sick.
bro.
So sick.
He's like, you thought he was going to say, look, I didn't really mean that, dude. You know, sorry, I had a bad day. Hey, man, but just so you know, I really didn't mean that.
I just want to be perfectly clear. This is not for you. I don't
This is way before Postmates, but he's like, have you ever thought about delivery, dude? Like, you know.
I've done it like 6 times, and no one knows what they're doing 6 times in. But
Yeah,
like, he
dude.
was so earnest. He was just. It kind of hurt that he wasn't even trying to be mean. He was like honestly trying to help me.
It's worse.
He was
That's
like,
even,
you should not be doing this. You know, not everyone has to be a comedian. There's a lot of good jobs out there. It's like, whoa.
You're a smart guy, dude. You got a future ahead of you.
Oh, man.
You know.
It was really.
I mean, dude, when you're 6 mics in, it's too tough. It's too early to tell. You can't tell.
You have no idea.
Let it cook.
I thought I was a one-liner comic. I was doing one-liners.
Dude, I respect that. You know, knowing your writing skills, dude, and your fucking dank screenwriting awareness, bro.
Oh, thanks.
Dude, that makes sense to me. You have good structure. I could see that. But a very difficult, it's so, like, imagine building an hour of one-liners. Dude, it's so hard.
Impossible. And I think the audience fatigues on it too. I mean, it's really hard. I was talking to, I don't want to say his name, but basically he's one of the old dogs. He's probably 70 and he's been featuring for like 50 years.
Yeah.
And he's a one-liner guy. And I asked if he ever tried to just like make it as a headliner. And he was like, the audience doesn't want it.
Really?
They just don't want an hour. And his one-liners are great. They're great. But he was like, they have about 20 minutes in them. And
I was going to say 15, 20 minutes of one-liners. I'm like, this is amazing. And then I'm like, go away. Honestly, dude, let's be honest. 20 minutes of anything in life, pretty rad.
Yeah, for sure. I love 20 minutes. 20 minutes is just like a nice solid time frame.
It's a good, exactly. It's just
because
correct.
It's not 15 minutes, but it's not 25 either.
You want to go
That's what I
drive a
always
tractor? You want to have fun with a tractor? You want to just fire that puppy up and drive around? Yeah, I do.
Honestly, I think
It's
that's
work
why
after 20 minutes.
this is throwaway, but I think that's why Dimitri Martin does the drawings, is because he like felt a need to break it up a little bit.
Yes.
And I mean, he's right. I love the drawings.
I love him too. And you know what? He's hilarious, man. He's like genuinely hilarious guy.
I love him.
I remember somehow, like, I think a while back, his Conan packet got released somehow, and I read it, and I'm like, this is great. And then a lot of the bits are like, oh, you can see how his show came about reading that. It's
100%.
tough. The toughest thing as a comic, build your own point of view, honest introspection.
No doubt.
I mean, honestly, maybe we should quit.
I think about that.
Nah, dude, we're never quitting, dude. And this plays in, Nick, to our topic today. But before I want to hear a little bit about you. Thank you to our sponsor, Babbel. Travel plans this summer? Learn to speak like a local with Babbel, because Babbel, you can start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. Boom, dude. Get started right now with 55% off your Babbel subscription for our listeners. That's right. Go to babbel.com/dank. That's 55% off at babbel.com/dank, spelled BABBEL.com/dank. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Sure.
But our topic today, this soldier didn't quit.
This guy was unreal.
Was unreal.
No,
he had performance-enhancing substances.
Yeah, and they helped a lot. Almost too much, you could say.
Yeah, dude. This is pretty rad. I mean, honestly, before the podcast started, and I can cut this if you want, you said, "Hey, bro, I've got some meth. Should we do it? Should we do it before we pod, dude, and just do a 9-hour podcast, dude?" And just the whole time, just ideas.
It's this changed how I look at meth.
Right.
There's a what I think I learned from this is there's a time and a place.
Yeah,
it's definitely a time and a place.
You're right,
and a dosage.
That's correct as well.
Because it's an Adderall meth.
Basically,
pretty much. I mean, it's an approximation. It's an
amphetamine, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it just sort of tweaks you out in a similar way. And in a good dose, it's fine. But this guy just got. Well, the audience probably doesn't even know what we're talking about yet. But
yeah, we'll get into it. This is all teasers. Right now would be when I would go to an advertisement, which I will. Welcome back, motherfuckers, to History is Dank, dude. But first, before we dive into our guy, Nick, what's going on? How are you? And how are you summering, dude? There's a word for you.
Yeah.
How are you summering right now?
I'm going to summer in the United States this year. I live in LA. From Michigan, obviously just running around the LA stand-up scene, just doing that, writing ads during the day, trying to sell a screenplay with you.
Yes, bro.
Hopefully you figure that out and just go sell it.
Dude, it's going to happen, bro. We're going to dude, I'm telling you, dude. Look, these strikes aren't helping us, but in the long run, they will, dude. We stand in solidarity, dude.
I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy for them that they're just like hanging in there, and I really hope they win this one.
Dude, as being two classic white guys, and we've probably taken too long to get into talking about AI. How much do you fear it, dude? Do you fear AI? And like, you know how everyone was like, they're going to take, like, automation's going to take our jobs. I always thought it would be an auto worker in Michigan, not a screenwriter in California.
I fear it maximally because I think this is the worst. Well, I know that this is the worst AI is ever going to be, and it's already pretty good.
Right.
It's already really good. And so when you think about how fast it's getting better, it's haunting. It's really, if you look at, it's already hit the writing landscape very hard, corporate writing, very hard. I lost copywriting clients because of it already.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Bro. It's mostly like if you're going to do like a blog post or something just to like make a little extra scratch, that's what's been hit the hardest. Creative copywriting is still alive and very well, but
I trust the art, the human spirit. You know, that's something that the machines hopefully won't capture, but maybe they will, dude.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they're trying to feed them the human spirit right now to train them to learn the human spirit, which is kind of what I'm worried about. I mean, aren't you kind of worried about it?
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure.
Have you seen the Boston Dynamics robot?
It's unbelievable. The way it moves, dude. It fucking jumps up shit.
Unbelievably human, specialized, can do a backflip. I mean, once you see how human that is, I mean, thumbs are the best thing we used to have going for us.
Correct.
Now the robots have thumbs. So, I mean,
yeah, they can pick shit up. They can probably jack off. Because imagine jacking off. The Boston Dynamics thing just hopping up and like, elevating 8 feet, whacking it, dude.
I will say, just to be slightly optimistic, I do think just as a way of keeping the peace, the governments are going to step in and figure this out. But it's just, it'll just be a little choppy getting there.
It's going to be like the weed industry, dude. You know, for a while, it took them a fucking second to figure that shit out, dude, once they legalized it.
No, it's true.
You know, took them a second, dude.
100%.
Yeah. And a lot of good drug dealers lost jobs because of that, dude.
They did lose jobs. I think there's still a big black market for weed, weirdly.
Really?
Yeah. There's still a big black market for it just because it's so expensive to go legal, the permitting process, that a lot of people are just like, I'm going to just keep doing this under the radar.
Smart. So, yeah, because of taxation on it.
Yeah.
Quick question for you. What's the chillest way to ask someone if they smoke weed? Like if you don't want to seem like a fucking narc or a cop, because I think I've got one in my back pocket that someone asked me the other day.
Should I hit you with it? I don't have one in mind,
Here's one. You burn? Dude, how sick is that, dude?
They skip the word do.
Yeah.
Just apostrophe you.
Correct.
Burn.
You burn.
I love that. I kind of we all hate smoking weed, right? We all hate it.
I don't like it. Too much anxiety. I'm a poser when I say that. But I do like, Dadgrass is not sponsoring this app, but they sponsor a lot of apps, so got to give a shout out to my CBD.
Oh, I shouldn't have said any of the shit I just said then.
No, you can say whatever you want to say, dude. That's honesty first on this pod, dude.
Well, I will say, just to be fair to the weed company that sponsors you, I think I am in the minority. I think
They're not weed. They're not weed. That's the thing. It's very low THC, more CBD.
If it has THC, isn't it weed though?
Yeah, it's like the smallest legal.
So
amount.
low dose weed.
Low.
I think most people react better to that, but like the weed that's out there now is just really gnarly.
Nick,
It's a panic attack. It's a panic attack.
Should it might as well be meth?
Should it might as well be. Indeed.
Indeedly do.
If you will.
Aaron, dude, what's the sickest way you ask someone to burn if they burn, dude?
I mean, you used to say you holding.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah.
That's tight. That's tight. That's tight.
I think that could mean a lot of things though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it almost,
Like
are
a
you
gun
holding,
makes me-
if you were going to try to buy heroin at a train station, I could see you saying something like that.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Heroin is probably not purchased anywhere outside train stations. Maybe a bus station, but you're not getting the good stuff there.
Big train station drug.
When's the last time you were at a bus station?
I haven't been to a bus station in a really long time. I took a train to Santa Barbara. The train, I like trains.
That's
actually.
nice, yeah.
Amtrak is real nice, but buses are, I don't know. I haven't taken a bus in a long
I'm
time.
out on buses. Trains can be very architecturally pleasing. It's like one of those things that makes you proud to be a part of humanity. You're like, this is cool.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Well, and also you don't have to get to the station that early, and it's just, I don't know. I like trains. You can work.
You can work. You don't have to really worry about like this fucking going up the plane. It's not as, but the security isn't as crazy as an airport.
Yeah.
The train, it can be delightful, dude.
Really delightful up the Pacific. It's really nice.
The coastliner.
Yeah.
I used
I
to
really like
moon that thing when I was younger. Just pull
You
my.
used to mo-
I used to
what?
moon
You
it
used to
from my boys'
hang
beach.
cheeks on
Yeah, dude, we'd be fucking just chilling in the beach in San Clemente, and the coastliner would go by. We'd fucking, as soon as we saw the train, pause our fucking game of beer die and just go, hold up, and then we did all moon the train.
Do you know people are showing whole when they moon people?
Really?
Did you
Wait,
know
people are
that?
spreading it? See,
Yeah.
that's too much.
I know that's too much.
Is that the
'Cause
kids are doing these days?
Well, you were just doing cheeks.
Just cheeks.
That's what it should be.
it's
I
just cheeks.
personally am a big believer in cheeks, but I had a buddy. We went out to the main road, and I sort of chickened out because I was about to moon the traffic with him, and I realized he was showing whole. I was like, I'm out on this.
Oh, that totally.
In the moment. And he
Oh,
goes, where
yeah.
were you on that? I was like, I didn't know you were showing whole. I'm 9.
Yeah, exactly. That's not what I signed up for, dude.
Yeah, no
no,
way.
it's just cheeks. It's cheeks. If you're showing whole, you might as well be just pulling out your balls, holding your wiener, and just showing everyone your balls.
I know.
A savage
I know,
maneuver, dude.
Can you imagine just being a guy driving to work and you just see some 9-year-olds just getting loose on the...
Yeah, it'd be gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it all. I still do it. I did this up until about when I was 27 years old. 36
Just
now.
mooning the
mooning.
Pacific surf liner up the...
Every Christmas
up
I'll
the
do it. Yeah, we go
coast.
down. It was a beautiful thing. But never be whole. Not
No.
showing anyone grundle. You know, just you pull those board shorts down a little bit, and even throw a shako as they go by like that.
Nice little shaka. Sometimes you do the low shaka, which is nice.
Nudity, like streaking, is fun because it's going past someone. You know, it's nudity moving away. But if you're naked standing still in front of someone, that's a threat.
Or running towards them.
Or running toward, even worse.
You got to go away or still.
Correct.
But towards is real bad.
Yes. Menacing.
Never towards.
Never towards.
Never towards.
All right. Enough of that. But that did just boost my stoke quite a bit, dude. I love hearing about that type of stuff. You sent me an email, as we do from time to time. Nick and I will email. And you go, dude, did you fucking see this story about this bro on meth who just absolutely went beast mode in World War II? And immediately I was like, what, dude? How do I not know about this? And so today, finally, the stars have aligned. It's been a while. We've been trying to plan this. Our schedule's worked out. We're talking Aimo Koivunen, right?
Yeah. Part of the Finnish army.
Yeah. This guy's 27 years old. This is how old I was when I was still mooning. And he's 27-year-old, Finnish soldier, 1944 is when this takes place. Actually, I have a date exactly for you. March 18th.
So we're in the thick of it at that time.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. There's something going on called the Winter War as well. Winter War was like the Soviets trying to basically make the Finnish, the people from Finland, their bitches, saying, dude, we're just going to fucking take your territory now.
Right.
You don't have a big army, like, don't worry about it. Little did they know, Finnish soldiers had quite the resolve, and the terrain was fucked.
The terrain was super intense, and from what I understand, they were just running from the Soviets.
Yes.
This guy started to fall behind and had to make a choice.
He was, and look, he was a little bit fatigued. He was not keeping up with, I mean, imagine in Finland, you're probably born on a pair of skis, right?
Like yeah, they're really
there,
good at cross country. Northern Europe is really good at it.
They're really good at that fucking, what is that in the Olympics when you fucking, the biathlon. When you ski, then you chill and you shoot and then you ski more.
Yeah.
They rip at that.
Yeah, no, they always win. And from what I understand, his, whatever military unit he was in, like, I don't know, squadron or what they call it at that size.
But I think it was like, yeah, it was like a sick ass unit because, dude, they have skis. Think about that, bro.
No, well, skiing was part of the infrastructure of that war. You have these crazy pictures of troops just with these long parkas on and guns and skis.
If you're going to go to war, Nick, and no one wants to go to war, avoid at all costs. Diplomacy before.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
unless you need oil real bad.
Unless you need the oil to fuel your operation.
In which case, go to town.
Yes, exactly. Or if if chicks are into it and you want to impress them, it's like, yeah, let's go. But if I was going to go to war, sign me up for having a pair of skis. That's how I'd like to do it.
For sure. Either as a part of war, at the very least, days off. I mean, it's nice to have, it's a huge value add at all times, skiing.
For sure. The fact that you could catch air, potentially.
Yeah.
A huge bonus. Good
Absolutely.
for morale.
Absolutely.
Just want to put that out there. I think, I don't know how big this unit of soldiers was, but they were outnumbered by the Soviets, bro.
For sure. Start pulling away, from what I understand. And the guy, Aimo, was falling behind the rest of his people.
Yeah.
And had to basically make a change.
They're like, dude, you need to hurry up. You're risking everyone, dude. We're a unit. We roll together.
100%. And one funny thing that I read was they had specifically given him all of the meth because they knew he could be trusted. Like, he was the guy who wouldn't take all the meth.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it. He's like, no. Everyone else was like, we'll do that shit.
Who can we give all of our meth to? And then gave it to this guy because they knew he could be trusted not to take it. And what's the first thing he does? He just goes and takes all the meth.
He just fucking takes it, dude.
We all have a friend like that who would take all the meth. And he was, And
here's the thing. For a little context, there was something called Pervin. The Nazis did it. The Nazis were like basically, not all, but they were using meth, dude. Blitzkrieging on meth, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that until I started reading up on this guy in detail.
Same.
But I thought that this was out of the ordinary. This was part of the Nazi framework. I mean, they were just taking meth.
Totally. And it should be said that at this time, the Finnish army was an ally with Nazi Germany, but just because they wanted them to back. They tried to get Allied help. The Allies didn't come to their help. They tried the Allies first, but the Nazis were like, no, we will help you and stave off the Soviets. Basically, they didn't want to. And so then they had to have they ended up giving like 11% of their territory to the Soviets. And then this part in 1944, the Soviets are coming back in again after that treaty. So that's a little background context.
I didn't realize they tried to get our help. But however you get there, I don't think you want to ally with the Nazis.
No, not a good call.
It's usually the wrong side of history.
Unless you want meth.
I guess
unless you want a fucking shit ton of meth called Pervin.
That is the shadiest way to get meth.
Yes.
I go train station before I go Nazis.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. That's a great call.
I go train station every time.
If anyone's listening to this podcast, if you take away anything, you go train station before you team up with Nazi Germans. Come on, dude.
Never go Nazi.
You don't do that. So this guy, now one of the articles that I read, you go, he they made a point of saying he didn't want to take it. He was against taking the meth, so his unit trusted him with it. Then he's staying behind, and his boys are like, hurry up, bro. Like, what are you doing? Let's go. Like, the fucking Russians are on our tail. And he's like, oh, hurry up. I'll show you. And then takes all 30. So there must have been 30 bros in his unit, because he takes, what I read was the number 30, a quote unquote healthy dose of meth was 1.
I love
healthy dose.
I love that just embedded in the idea that you're taking too much meth is that there's a right amount of meth to be taken.
Yes, dude.
And
yeah.
what is the right
exactly,
amount
dude.
of meth? So
it's amazing.
I get from what
one a day.
One a day. Although some of the Nazis were taking meth 4 times a day for a couple weeks, just for context. So just tweaked out and not going to bed.
Yeah, dude.
So then this, from what I understand, the dosage, they wanted the meth to last for about 4 hours. He takes about 30 doses because of mittens. Did you read about the mittens?
I read about the mittens.
So
that was exactly, he's like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't use my fingers.
He didn't, his hands, when you're running from the Soviets, everyone knows.
Yes.
You're not nimble. This is not a precision game. You're not dosing out the meth. And so he's running for his life. He's wearing these mittens. He's got to get this meth out of the bottle.
Exactly.
And so
have you ever used the bottle? You have to like squeeze the thing, like
the meth bottle.
I can't even open
hate
a Tylenol.
the meth bottles.
Yeah, Nick, the meth bottle. If it's anything like the Tylenol bottles, you can barely open them.
I can never.
You got to squeeze it where?
You're squeezing it weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird squeeze. Every time you do meth, it's a weird squeeze.
Exactly. Can't they just make it easier on us, man?
So this guy, he dumps all the meth into his hands and he takes 30 meth pills. And instead of being high for 4 hours, he's high for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just tweaking out.
Yes.
And I mean, I've obviously, this goes without saying, I think, but like I've obviously never done meth, right?
Did you want to be in this frat?
I mean, I don't think you want.
Do it, dude. It's cool, dude. Kidding. We don't condone that type of stuff on this pod. Yeah, no, neither of us have done meth, dude.
But we do condone running from the Soviets, and he was really good
sure.
at it. And did you see how I got us back on track there? How sick was that?
Dude, what you just did right there, dude, is you were in fresh pow pow for a while, and you got us on trail, bro.
How seamless was that? Just straight onto the groomer. So he then is so good. All of a sudden, he's too good at running from the Soviets.
Yes.
And he flies past his people.
Yes. You imagine seeing that guy, dude, just fucking doing that fucking Soviet like ski walk, or not the Soviet, but just that biathlon ski walk, and they're like, dude, this is the guy who's been the slowest the whole time.
So they immediately have to know. They have to know.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, so all of a sudden this guy is really good at skiing.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
There had to be 2 guys who exchanged looks, and they're like, that guy just took all the meth.
There was definitely 2 guys in that unit that for sure just went, whoa.
And there's probably just that moment where they're like, okay, well, not only is he screwed because he took all of the meth, but we're screwed because we have no meth.
Yeah, we have no meth.
You
now,
have to have the right amount of meth.
Correct. You need the proper healthy, quote, healthy amount of meth when you're fleeing from the Soviets.
You absolutely do.
Yeah.
And so then he flies past his people and he gets separated.
Cruz, so now he's by himself. I looked up temperatures. It's cold as fuck. Let's just say scientifically it's really cold as fuck. I read 5 degrees Fahrenheit during the day and then negative at night. So cold as fuck. And he's out there on meth, bro. And he goes through some ordeals now, dude. This isn't just like, okay, he did meth and he passes out and that's it. Don't get me wrong. He does pass out.
He does pass out, but from what I understand, that happened later. There was a weird part in the middle of his journey where he was isolated, covered a lot of ground.
Yes, 100 kilometers, they say.
Got disoriented.
Yeah.
And then skied back through the Soviets that were chasing him.
He fucking passes out.
Yeah.
He fucking goes like whatever, like 100 kilometers maybe total. And he fucking wakes up. He's like, oh, what the fuck? Still high. Looks at this fire burning and he goes, those are my boys. Those have to be my boys. Skis directly into the Soviets who were trying to kill him. Then they go, dude, the Soviets were so shocked. Do you remember Band of Brothers episode 5 when Spears connects with I Company, Nick?
No, can you tell me more?
Okay. So Donnie Wahlberg is narrating this, and there's a captain, lieutenant of Easy Company who's really struggling. He's a little aloof, and he's just not connecting with I Company, and they need to fucking connect with I Company outside the forest of Ardennes, or they're going to get pinned down.
Yep.
Spears, Major Dick Winters relieves the lieutenant of Easy Company and goes, Spears, go fucking connect with I Company. He straight up just runs past. He literally just puts his gun behind his back and just runs past the Nazis, and all the Nazis are like loading their guns, and they just go. And they don't even shoot him. They're just like, that's unbelievable. I can't believe that happened. And then he goes back. And that's the best part, is then he connects, tells him the message, and he's like, yeah, you need to wheel around, flank, or whatever the fuck you need to tell him. Then comes back, and the Nazis are even more shocked, and everyone's shocked. That's what happens when they see this fucking skinny ass dude.
For sure.
Skiing on meth, straight in their camp. He goes and realizes, oh fuck, these aren't my boys, and then just skis out.
Skis 100% skis through the exact camp. Like, imagine a camp. So I read the description of it. They're in a camp. They're camping.
Yes.
They're camping. There's like a fire and there's tents, and he skis through a fire and tents.
Where every dude has guns, and they want to kill these dudes that look like him, dude. Podoba ci się mój podcast? Do you like my podcast? Dude, that's straight up Polish right there, dude. Fired up on that. Dude, and I'm fired up on Babbel, because here's the thing, dude. It's simple. Yes, at times. And look, Polish is one of the harder languages to learn. Okay, I'm fired up on it because I have Polish heritage. That's why I wanted to learn it. I want to visit there one day. And at times, Polish can be difficult. The pronunciation's hard. Okay, I'm still getting there. But guess what? The lessons are simple. I'm fired up. It takes 10 minutes a day. That's what I love. Okay, and look, studies from Yale, Michigan State University, other big universities, they continue to prove Babbel is better. For instance, one study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. Oh man, I wish I knew this back when I was in college, dude. It would have been freaking so much more fun. But you know what? I'm having fun learning. I love their bite-sized lessons. I love that it's taught by actual language experts. The accents are spoken by proper native speakers, so I can speak it. I'm getting more and more confident in my pronunciation as my lessons go. So this summer, why not start? It's as good a summer as any. You got your travel plans. Start speaking a new language with Babbel. And why Babbel? Like I said, it works, dude. You're paying $100 for a private tour, fooling yourself with language apps that are a little more than games, dude. Babbel's quick 10-minute listens are designed by over 150 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as, I said it, 3 weeks, dude. Real conversations for real people. I'm fired up. And here's something real for you that you're going to be stoked on. It's a special limited time deal for our listeners, okay? To get you started right now, all right? Get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/dank. Get 55% off at babbel.com/dank, spelled BABBEL.com/dank. Rules and restrictions may apply.
So they're like, okay, this guy is obviously one of our friends.
Yes.
But then by the time that he skis past the Soviets, they start to realize, oh, that wasn't one of our friends. And then they give chase again. Mm-hmm. But again, he's good at meth.
Exactly, bro. His body's dominating at meth. We need to reiterate right now that what a miracle that when you take 30 meth pills, you don't just die. How do you not just die? That's what's fascinating about this.
I don't have an answer for that.
Exactly.
I don't have an answer for that because I think the move is you die.
The move is exactly, bro.
That's the move.
Exactly, dude.
You take 30 meth.
Well, this was government grade shit, dude. That's what's up. This is the good shit, dude.
So it's good. This is the good for
shit.
you.
Yeah, it's good. The government gave it to you. It's good. This isn't some stuff you're just getting.
You can always trust the Nazi government.
Yeah,
from what I understand.
Yeah, when it comes to meth, for sure, dude.
I have to be careful with generating these sound bites. How much do we trust your editor?
Dude, it's me, bro. Yo, and here's the thing, Nick, you owe me some money, dude. So that's going out there. No, you've said everything you're saying checks out flawlessly. But Aimo, he cruises past. Look, he gets a little bit hungry at this point, dude. So what's he living off of? He fucking scrapes some tree bark, eats that, eats pine needles, bro.
Pine needle broth.
Perfect.
Boiling water, which I assume he made a fire.
Yes, he made a fire.
boils water, pine needles, and just starts eating something that's essentially not food.
No, he's not eating food.
As you're eating water that you're trying to talk yourself into it being not water.
And
It's
he's,
water.
And he's probably talking to an imaginary friend that he has right there, which he did say in an interview. He's like, he's like, I'd have just conversations with people that weren't there. And he's like, yeah, fucking boil those noodles. Fucking yeah, dude.
Completely delirious, hallucinating, finds this cabin. He finds a cabin, and once he finds the cabin, do you remember what happens to the fire?
Yeah, fucking gets out of control, dude.
So
yeah, the guy fucking take me through this, because I know that I don't want to spoil alert it, but
yeah, so he finds this cabin. That's great news, right?
Oh, he's stoked.
But
Shelter.
I feel like in your sober state of mind, you know, I cannot make a fire inside the cabin because it will betray my location and also carbon monoxide.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't make a fire in there. But he does because he's doing crank for, you know, a couple of days.
Exactly, dude.
And so he's like, all right, well, I'll just make this fire inside the cabin. So he does. But at this point, he starts to detach from reality.
Yes.
The cabin starts to burn. I'm sure the carbon monoxide is getting to him. The 30 meth pills are definitely getting to him. And he starts, I don't know if you read this part, but the cabin started to burn.
Yeah.
And the fire would start to get close to him. And he would move away from the fire and then go back to bed. Did you see that part?
Amazing, bro. Yeah, he was just sleeping.
He saw the fire getting close and he was just like, well, that was a close one. I'm going to go back to bed. He went back to bed.
Amazing, bro.
He goes back to bed.
Probably paranoid about everything else in the world besides the fire that's creeping towards him to burn him in his sleep, dude. He's like, that's chill.
The guy's unreal. So he goes to bed. At a certain point, the fire wakes him up in earnest and he flees.
Yes, he's like, dude, this is too much. I'm out. Part of it, Nick, the good part about when you're on meth is you don't get quality sleep. So he was able to wake up. He wasn't really entering REM.
No REM cycle.
No REM. He was maybe dozing, but no REM. So when that fire was almost burning him, he was definitely alert.
Super alert. And I think it's worth mentioning at some point, I don't know if you saw this, but he took all of the meth. Do you know he took all the meth at 10 a.m.?
I didn't know it was at 10 a.m.
Doesn't that change things for you?
That's incredible. In the morning.
He took it all before noon, because their encounter with the Soviets started at 10.
He took it right away. Yeah, he started fleeing.
They started to flee, and then he just started taking meth. So he's been on meth for a while now.
Yeah, bro.
And morning meth is, you got to feel extra bad about yourself doing
Absolutely.
meth in the morning.
Yeah, it's got to be, the come down's just got to be like, whoa, where am I in my life? What am I doing? Have I called my dad? All that type of stuff.
Yeah, you rethink a lot of stuff when you're running from the Soviets.
Yeah. He definitely wasn't thinking when he skied over a landmine. That's part of one of the things too.
Yeah.
But he was skiing so fast and so on meth that it did blow him a little bit up. Like his clothes got like hurt and his foot got fucked up.
He blows his foot off.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, it probably did mess up his clothes. Yes.
I remember that in the article. It was like his clothes got ripped. Dude, exactly. But maybe they're like, but it's extra. Imagine he's extra cold. He's in ripped ass clothes, but also exactly the leading. This is exactly not the lead.
And that's a bummer, because any dude throughout history has only had about 5 shirts. And so
yeah, exactly, bro.
If a landmine takes out one of your shirts, you got 4 shirts.
And it's going to be his favorite shirt.
It's yeah. Absolutely. You need so he's wearing his favorite shirt that gets torn to shreds.
Fuck that.
His foot's blown off. This is immediately following the fire cabin.
This is a fire
cabin. Tell the
cabin.
Listeners, immediately after the fire cabin, he needs to flee, find a new cabin.
Yes.
And this cabin was booby trapped with landmines.
This was a former German encampment that they go, hey, the Soviets are probably going to find this. As you do in war, you do something called rear guard, where if you're retreating or moving a location, you have a few troops stay behind, but then you also booby trap that shit, because you don't want your enemy being like, fuck yeah, sick, I found a cabin, let's go.
Yeah, so he gets hit by a second landmine. blows him into the ditch.
He's apparently still holding a doorknob. He gets blown like 30. It's like, this article I read was like, it's like a Looney Tunes moment where like he literally gets blown like 30 feet and he still has the fucking doorknob in his hand.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's
he lives, bro. And his clothes are fucked up.
Oh, boy, that's also a great commercial for a doorknob company. Just the
true.
doorknob survives
Yeah,
a
100%.
landmine. So he's in this ditch, and the timeline gets hazy for when he ran into his friends.
Yeah.
Because I know he ran into them when he was in the ditch,
Mm-hmm.
and I know he ran into them briefly once prior.
Yes.
And it's hard to tell what happened when. The article wasn't completely clear.
Totally.
But from what I understand, the second that his friends caught up with him, they knew he'd taken all the meth pills, probably because they saw him tweaked out, but probably because they were like, boy, I could really go for some meth right now.
Totally.
He goes,
They're like,
I have
"Oh."
bad news about the meth.
Here comes Aimo. He's got our meth, dude. Fuck yeah. Oh, no, he took it, dude.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen someone on meth, you just look at their face. You got to imagine this guy. Imagine a cold face when you're like, you know, you're a little cold, you're a little chapped. And then imagine that plus meth just, you got to imagine that guy's face, dude.
Absolutely. Well, and also they had a picture of him, and you can tell by his eyes. You know how they show those pictures of the presidents where it's like before and after their presidency, and they look like they just were serving in Korea.
Abe Lincoln's a classic one. Really, the stress of the office.
He looked like that after 14 days.
Yes.
He looked like he just served 2 presidencies.
And he ate nothing. Oh, we skipped over. He did eat a bird raw. He found some fucking bird before he ate his boys. Yeah.
That's such a methy thing to do, to catch a bird with your bare hands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Meth helped a lot, because I say 10 out of 10 times you're sober, you don't catch that bird.
You don't get that bird.
You take 30 meth pills, all of a sudden you're the bird guy.
Mm-hmm. You're probably talking to the bird. You're being gentle with it. You're whistling at it. The bird probably came to him.
Oh boy, I wonder. Although animals can sense bad energy, and I can imagine you had pretty bad energy. I should have yes-anded that, but in my gut,
this is the truth.
I feel like you have bad energy if you take 30 meth pills.
You're right, and we got to have. And we just talked about it. He's probably regretting things at this point. He can't sleep. He's got to be. Yeah, he's coming off. He's very off-putting. You know what I mean? He's not going to get seated at a restaurant. Anyone on meth isn't getting seated at a restaurant, dude.
There's no way he's getting seated at a restaurant. There are no restaurants. Also, at this point, you got to imagine he had the classic moment where he's just saying to himself and promising God, I'm never going to do meth again if you get me out of this. Because we've all, after drinking, everyone's had that moment. Mm-hmm. After 30 meth pills, you have that moment for sure. Mm-hmm. That happened.
Probably a little bit before that moment, he probably had a moment where he said, I am God. He probably said, I am God. You know, you want to come at me, do your worst, for I'll do mine.
He was half in the spirit realm for sure.
Yes.
Losing blood on top of everything.
Yeah, his foot.
Yeah. So his guys find him in this ditch, see that he looks like hot garbage, and they take his ammo.
Oh, yeah.
They say, you probably can't. I don't think they took his gun, but they took his ammo specifically just because it said it was for both their protection. So
that makes sense.
Well, we don't want you to kill us, but we also don't want you to kill yourself in this.
Correct. Accidentally do who
ditch.
God only knows. Yeah.
That's how much meth he was on. That's what they were worried about. And then I'm sure one guy was like, well, doesn't he need bullets to kill the Soviets when they come? And they're like, we just need him to have zero ammo right now. We need him.
Exactly, dude.
I promise you, this guy needs zero ammo. That's for everyone's benefit.
No ammo for Aimo, dude. No, thank you.
They take his ammo, and you remember that they leave. They leave him.
Yeah, he's fucking just posting up by himself now. It's very savage, dude. But the guy's a liability, dude.
He is a liability for the journey to go get help, but apparently they left with the promise that they would come back with the means to get him out of there safe and fast. And they came back. But also in that moment, if we're being real, if you're on meth, you're just thinking, these guys are not coming back.
They're never coming back.
They're not coming back.
Yeah. They're never coming back. But did they leave him any more meth? No.
They didn't have any more meth to leave.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He did it all. It's the same
did
guys,
all the meth.
It's his boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you got to really be like, guys, I just found you. I just did this whole fucking ordeal of like, I think it ends up being 2 weeks total. He's probably how many days in now? 10?
Yeah.
12?
He's pretty deep.
I mean, what a bust, dude. You know?
10 days in, because about 1 day in, that's when you're feeling pretty nice. And you're thinking, I'm so glad I took this meth. And then 3 or 4 days in, you're like, this is still very satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
And then 6, 7 days in, you're thinking, I really wish I didn't take this much meth. And then there's another week of the meth after.
Yeah, exactly. Still just in there. But here's the thing. He owes his life to that meth. There's no way if you're sober and not on meth, you survive this ordeal.
No, you don't.
You don't.
I was reading about some of the symptoms of it, which is you think you're invincible. You think you're going to live forever. And so there's no part of him that thinks he's going to die. But I thought it was really interesting because I was reading through the symptoms of meth, and I should say the effects of meth.
Yeah.
And you think you're invincible, but you also just start interrupting people. Which I think is amazing. So your heart rate goes to like whatever the number is. It's like way too fast.
Dude, they said it was at like 200 beats per minute, and like 70 is normal for a human. Like it was like more than double, bro.
Yeah, double, triple, quadruple the heart rate.
Yeah.
And so you are medically almost dead, but also interrupting's a problem at this point.
Dude, it's just annoying. It's like, hey, Aimo, dude, I'm trying to fucking help you out, bro. Can I fucking take a breath here?
I know. And so they come back. And they rescue. They save the guy. And he lived to be 71.
Yeah, exactly. Lived into his 70s.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have made it to like 75. I think he took a couple years off his. They say every hot dog you eat is 7 minutes off your life. Every hot dog you eat. I wonder what that is for meth. Every Pervin pill you take, it's got to be a couple months, dude.
Boy. I think so too. I mean, it definitely would affect your lifespan. So you're right. You probably would have lived to be about 76 or whatever, but he lived an otherwise healthy life. The human body is just a tank. I don't understand how,
dude.
At a certain point, the human body's like, all right, we're kind of fine now.
It's insane. Like the recovery on that, like it is a miracle, dude. It makes me like, what I love about this story is just that this guy, it gives me hope, dude, just of being like, you know, it's really about the power of positive thinking, Nick. You know, that meth, the fact that it just let him go, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to do this. So if you were able to do that without meth, I wonder if you could. You definitely wouldn't cover as much territory, but maybe you live.
Right. Well, they say that's the number one cause of death in survival situations. It's not running out of water and it's not running out of food. It's losing the will to live. And so when you have 30 meth pills, to your point, I mean, you have the will to live for sure. Mm-hmm. At least long enough to get more meth. That's probably the...
I fucking need more, bro. I'm coming down.
Every single person who walked past him when he was in that ditch with one leg, he asked for meth. That's the first thing he asked for.
Absolutely, dude.
He's like, do you guys have any meth by chance?
Give me your meth. Dude, give us your ammo. All right, do you have meth? Yeah. I mean, it's an unbelievable story. And it's a beautiful story because here's the thing. War is obviously terrible. But you get these beautiful moments in it where this guy lives, he connects with his boys. His boys have his back, even though they do leave him, but to better serve him. They couldn't move him.
They couldn't. It was the right move because they came back.
Yeah.
And they got him out.
But man, you imagine that? You fucking reconnect with your boys and like, you gotta stay.
You gotta stay. You don't want them to leave. I don't even like to be alone when I'm slightly hungover.
So true. I don't like to be alone really ever. I'm a very extrovert guy, dude. I like people around me, dude.
I do call my mom every time I'm in the car.
Yeah, I always call my mom.
Anything to not think right now.
For sure. Dude, exactly, bro.
anything to not confront the comedy landscape. And
dude, yes. Just be in my own thoughts, dude. Yeah, I don't want to have that.
I know. So do you know how this story came out? Did you see how
No, I don't know how it came out.
So he told these, apparently this has been corroborated. This isn't all just him winging it, but this happened. he told his kids, and his kids were saying, you got to write this down. People have to know about the story. So he wrote the story down, entered it into a competition where people were submitting just some sort of piece of writing. I don't know if it was fiction or nonfiction or what, but his story was submitted as a true story, and he got second place.
What?
Can you imagine that doesn't take first?
Yeah, what took first?
I don't know.
Guy did the same thing on heroin.
One guy took 31 meth pills. I think that's
exactly.
I actually took 31.
That's sicker.
I know.
Dude, that's
Unreal.
awesome. Yeah, it's these beautiful stories, man. The human spirit, dude, powered by a little bit of meth, dude. And actually a lot of bit of meth. Apparently he dropped, they say he was 94 pounds when they found him.
Unbelievable.
I don't know what he weighed before that. Probably $140. I mean, $135. You know, probably something like that, I would imagine. Nothing said he was a big guy.
Well, his foot probably accounted for a lot of that weight loss because his foot was gone.
Nick, that's a great call. I mean,
So
that's
not all
like
of it
7 or
is-
8 pounds right there.
7 or 8. So really, he was more like 98 pounds. With
I mean, that's what I'm talking
if
about.
he has his foot on.
Correct. And
But he didn't have his foot on. And if the shirt wasn't damaged,
I was gonna say, did they weigh him with or without his clothes? And his fucking shirt got fucking fucked up, dude.
his shirt was blowing it. His feet were blowing it. Also, we're being very flippant about all this. This is all very tragic.
This is all a
but
very
we're
tragic story.
Yeah, this is all tragic. I mean, even the fact that World War II happens is insane. So
Horrendous.
I felt like I had to say that in case I have to run for office one day.
Correct. No.
I do think World War II is bad.
Yes, exactly, dude. No, dude. We've covered all the bases. We know it's terrible, and you know, but this is a great story. There's a reason we like this story because it's larger than life, and you go, that's unbelievable. But it's not. It is believable. It happened. It's fucking rad. That's what's the rad about it.
It is believable, and it becomes much more believable once I started reading about the Nazi meth pills, it started to, I understand how this, because I thought a couple guys just brought recreational meth.
Yeah.
And they were just doing meth just to do meth. Just almost like they were doing acid in Vietnam. But that was not happening. This was part of the Nazi game plan. You mentioned the Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
That's
That
part
was
of
it.
the Blitzkrieg.
They want to march. It was about moving faster than your enemy could anticipate or ever think that you could move. And part of that was like, we need soldiers to march through the middle of the fucking night.
Yeah.
4 hours, how long they want it to last. Let's cover whatever those miles.
Right.
And be the advantage.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, I mean, I don't know, I didn't serve in the military. I don't even read that much about the military. But if you're planning for anything, military or otherwise, you look for what is the norm, right? Like, what is the normal rate for anything? And in this case, what is the normal rate for troops to advance? And apparently Churchill was completely blown away. He just wasn't used to people advancing that fast because they were giving meth to the tank commanders and to the pilots and to the people on the ground, and they were marching through the night, including through terrain that you couldn't traditionally march through.
Exactly.
But if you're methed out, I mean, you can march through. Snow is not a big problem.
Snow is nothing, dude. Snow is fun, bro.
So
This guy was marching through landmines, dude. So yeah, the case in point, it just shows you, these super soldiers and just very, very gnarly shit, dude.
one of the things I read was, I was trying to get a sense for whether everyone was doing meth during World War II. I guess the Americans did it a little bit, but the whole article was a Time Magazine article. I don't know if you ran into that, but it was all about substances during World War II, and they were saying everyone was doing drugs during World War II. They were taking meth in Nazi Germany. Americans were drinking a lot of coffee, and I was like, "What? They're drinking, what do you mean they're drinking
Coffee and meth.
Yeah, okay. In fairness, they did mention that the Americans were taking a little meth too. But
Yeah, they did. I read something there where there was like, they put it, how many doses went to the front lines?
Well, it says hundreds of thousands, right?
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands on the Allies, and then they said 35 million doses for the Nazis.
Yeah.
Of Pervin, dude.
Boy, can you imagine just being, because it was just some underling who had to drive the meth there. It wasn't Hitler driving in the meth. So it's probably just some guy working a DoorDash.
Dude,
it's just
exactly,
like,
bro.
hey, can you take this 100,000 meth pills to the front lines? And then some everyman.
Yeah, some dude named
Or
Ludwig
woman.
or Eric Orville.
I just wanted video evidence of me being progressive.
Thank you.
I basically, there's so many people like that in history who played a really important role that we'll never know about.
Totally.
We don't know who drove all those meth pills to the front lines. And that's probably why they were winning a lot of those battles, is because you have the Blitzkrieg was working.
Mm-hmm.
No one was ready for the pace of their advance. And that was sort of the performance enhancing drug of war at the time.
Yeah. I mean, now it's like they use beta blockers, pilots use that type of stuff. It's not meth, but it really helps you focus and shit. And,
Yeah.
And you did so gnarly. And have you ever, what would you say is a time where you had to use any substance to overcome great feats?
Oh boy.
I'm trying to think of one that I have too.
Unfortunately, when I first started doing stand-up, I needed a couple beers to just do it. And
Liquid
I
courage.
had my first year, I had such bad stage fright. I could do it sober, but I was so full of fear, I just kind of couldn't. So I would drink a couple beers, and I probably would have quit if I had to just white knuckle that.
For sure. And dude, it's tough. Like, I think that's not uncommon for any stand-up comedian. Like, that's why, like, they say the road is so hard on comics, because they'll just drink, eat a fucking pizza at the club. Like, it's just an unhealthy lifestyle.
Meth would have helped me a lot. I just did a bunch of road stuff through Arizona, New Mexico, and you're driving 8 hours a day. So we drove 8 hours to Flagstaff, and then we drove 8 hours to Las Cruces, New Mexico, 8 hours to Taos, and then we were supposed to drive 8 hours back to Tucson, but the Tucson show got canceled. And so we had to drive like 15 hours, 12 hours, whatever it was, back from Taos. And that's a time where I'm just thinking, boy, maybe meth is good for my stand-up.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice. You
But
could
that's
definitely,
crazy.
yeah.
The amount of the amount of driving is crazy.
It's a gnarly lifestyle, dude. It's very gnarly.
What's the farthest
But we
you ever
love it.
drove for a stand-up gig?
Drove for one single gig, not bad. Honestly, just like San Diego is really, otherwise I've been a little spoiled boy and would fly. But I did do early on, when I was in college, I would drive up from San Diego to LA every week for like sketch and improv classes.
Every week?
So, I mean, that's a lot.
What
That's
is
a
it,
brutal drive.
3 hour drive?
Oh, yeah, easily.
I think the meth Nazis could have made it in 45 minutes, probably.
For sure, dude. They would have been like Wazing it.
San Diego
easily,
to-
bro. Just fucking, we gotta switch over here. Let's go. We're gonna cut through the 605, dude. Surface Street, Sepulveda.
It's such a good drop right now.
Dude, you're a freaking beast. Nick, thank you for opening my eyes to this story. I'm happy that we can share this with the Danktorians, dude.
Yeah,
Look,
for sure.
don't go do meth, all right? You know, it's sick if you're in, you know, unless you're fleeing the Soviets on skis, lay off the meth.
Don't do meth. It's, I mean, someone had to say that at some point, because I feel like this entire podcast was just revealing the potential in
How
meth.
rad it is,
We're
dude. It's
just like-
so rad. You said it in the beginning. You go, dude, it changed my mind. And same here, I go,
know.
dude, it sounds rad.
I know.
But it's not rad.
I know. That is what I took away from the research, is that situationally meth was very good for this one particular guy, but generally speaking, I mean, that's just going to ruin your career with the Nazis.
Totally. Yeah, don't use this as an argument against your parents when they tell you not to do drugs and go, drugs aren't bad. Look at this.
Right.
Because technically you have a good point, but like also, come on, your parents
It's
have a good
crazy
point.
we live in a legal climate where we have to say this right now.
I know.
Where we
dude.
have to say, don't do meth.
Yeah,
Well, you
we
have
don't
people
condone
who
that,
listen
dude.
to you. You have a lot of people who like you are just like in high school and stuff. And I mean, you have to say that at some point,
For sure.
or put it in the comments of the don't do meth.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do it. Dude, it's not good, dude.
Yeah.
You know, even having too many beers before you do stand up, dude, not the best. You know, look, one or two ain't gonna kill you, but still, it's like you don't want to be in that cycle. Now you don't have beers before you do sets. You can if you want, but you're not relying on that.
No, I haven't done
Yeah.
that in a long time. Like
Yeah.
tonight I have a show tonight. I'm not gonna drink before,
Yeah.
just because I kind of got to be sharp, but after, you know what I mean?
After you can enjoy, exactly. And yeah, you are sharper. You'll find that, dude. Like if I have a beer or like one or one too many beers before a stand-up set, it always goes worse. I'm like, damn, I missed this beat or this joke, and
For sure.
you know.
For sure.
Well, fucking sick, dude. When for the Dankatorians listening, and I'll put your info in the episode description. But
great.
You mentioned you got a show tonight, but where else can people see you or find your stuff, dude?
Yeah, find me on Instagram. I post about my shows on there. I'm a comic screenwriter with this guy. Instagram is nick.taravella.com, and I post about my shows on there, and hopefully we can get something going.
Dude, I would love to, man. And
Yeah, it'd be
Nick,
fun.
you're hilarious, dude. Thank you so much. You're a fucking beast.
Oh, thank you, man. This was fun. It's a crazy story, and I love the podcast. Thanks for having me on, man.
Dude,
This is great.
My pleasure, dude. Aaron, you're a fucking beast as always, dude. Questions, comments, suggestions, you can email me for real at StriderWilsonShreds@gmail.com. Check out the Patreon. Leave a review. That always helps the pod. Fucking just get after it this week. Have fun, but get after it naturally. You know what I'm saying, dude? You know what I'm saying? Get after it naturally, dude.
Or just beers.
Yeah. Just a nice, you know, I'm a Coors Banquet guy.
Claws.
Yeah, exactly, dude. With the boys, you know, safe environment. Don't drive. I gotta say all this stuff. All right.